Before sewing the bag, we need to learn how to thread the needle and its sewing method, and how to break the thread. When sewing each part, we need to measure the amount of thread we need. For example, the thread we need to sew now. We need to measure 4 times its thread length. 1, 2, 3, 4 times. Usually, if the leather is not particularly thick, or the number of layers of leather is not too many, we usually measure 4 times the length of the thread. But if the position to be sewn is relatively short, like this one, the length of the stitching is relatively short. In this case, we need to measure 5 or 6 times the length of the thread. In each of our tutorials, each bag tutorial, there will be detailed instructions, how much thread length to measure. The threading method. First, thread passes through the eye of needle. Pull out a section. Then the needle tip passes through the middle of the thread. Pull the left thread. And then pull the right thread. Then it's done. We usually use the double needle sewing method, and do the same on the other end. Then you can start sewing. After passing the first stitch, pull the thread to half its length. Then repeat the method of 1 stitch up and 1 stitch down to sew each stitch. You can get used to holding the thread with your left hand. When we are almost finished sewing here, if the thread breaks, we can use any needle to continue sewing forward. Then go back to the front. Don't break the thread at the last hole, because generally it will. There will be holes next to it that need to be sewn. When you break the thread, you need to leave 1 to 2 stitches. There will be 2 threads here. The other one can also be sewn back. Then you can break the thread. And this glue, is easy to leak out. It's best to use a toothpick when using it. Then poke a small hole in it, and dip a little bit into it each time. On the thread end, and poke a little glue into the thread head a few times. Then wait for it to dry. It will feel a little hard when touched. The glue dries relatively quickly. Then cut the thread. Then I will explain another method of breaking the thread. When the sewing is almost finished, you can start sewing downwards. Sew it like this. Turn the needle back to the middle of the 2 layers of leather. Then do the same with the other needle. Then leave a section of thread and tie 2 knots directly. For this thread end can be glued or burn it with a lighter. Then tuck the thread back. Also make sure not to leave the thread in the last hole. These are the adhesives and interfacings we commonly use. You can combine them freely. Iron them on the Sungjin cloth. This is double-sided tape. This one is a slightly harder interfacing. Align and fuse these 2 pieces. This is a hot melt glue-like paper. This is a cloth interlining. First, iron the hot melt glue to the back of the fabric. Cover it with a thin layer of cotton cloth. No steam is needed. And iron it directly. After power on, the indicator light goes out. Then you can start. Press hard, according to the speed in the video. When ironing, pay attention to fix the fabric, and don't move it. The edges are easily overlooked. Pay attention to ironing's edges. Try to lift it up until the glue and paper are completely separated. If the glue and paper are still bonded, cover the paper again and iron it. The edges are easily overlooked. Look, the glue is already on the fabric. Then iron the fabric and the interlining. With the glue facing the back of the fabric. This is a double-sided tape and a slightly hard cloth liner. Iron them together. And dry ironing. Without steam. Press hard. Because its power is not high, hold it for about 4 or 5 seconds each place. Hold the iron with your left hand. Move the cotton cloth. Wait for some brocade to cool down. Check it after cooling. Check if there are any bubbles. Look if there are any bubbles. This one is basically fine. Here, there are bubbles. There's a little here. It's done. If there are still bubbles, you can iron it again. The main thing is to press down a little harder when ironing. Press it down and iron it. Because the power is not high, so it needs to stay for a few seconds. These two pieces are the commonly used microfiber velvet. The same method is used for microfiber. One has glue on the back, which needs to be heated to melt. The other one needs to remove the paper. And stick it on. Align the glue side with the ironed back. You must wait for it to cool before checking. It's basically done.